Hello and welcome to Star Wars News and Weekly Comic Recap presented by Tales from the Darkside, the show that fits every size of Star Wars fandom, regardless if it hangs loose or won't button up. It still looks good on you. Tonight, we're covering two Star Wars titles, Bounty Hunters 16 and Star Wars Ghost of Vader's Castle #1. Some deja vu with the Bounty Hunters issue, and C-3PO has had enough and strikes back in Ghost of Vader's Castle. Earlier this week, Disney Plus broadened our visions of the Star Wars galaxy. We review some of it, and we'll do it from various perspectives. Disney also dropped the episode titles of Book of Fett. Can the crew take those and spoil the series for you? I feel like, no, we're safe. I don't think so. And we got just a little bit of Funko coverage, too. So let's get it going, fellas.
All right. Thank you, Jedi. We are one short because Pete is watching wrestling tonight, but we picked up Sam. So we have Sam. We got some anime stuff going on. Jedi, could you introduce the room?
Sure will. If the Darkside had a news channel, and it does, and Tales from the Darkside was its prime show, and it is, he'd be the grumpy news director yelling at the staff. And never mind. It's Macho Man Marco. Like the weatherman, his job is to forecast things. If he says there's a chance, well, there's a chance, probability. You never know. It could happen. It's the guy behind the curtain, JJ Maxwell. And he's our foreign correspondent, erasing the lines that separate us from the unfamiliar. Sam Triple Dodgeball is here tonight. And every top-notch news show has a top-notch technical director, and he's top-notch. He's also not here, so we got our fingers crossed. But we'll see him next week. Pete, the visionary Renovision. And he's the jolly on-the-scenes reporter sent to cover festivals and photograph the rich and famous. He's been slapped by more than one celebrity Twi'lek. It's me, Jedi Johnson, 22. Still hurts a little bit.
Thanks, Ruben, what's going on? Steve, it was great to have you at the compound. I hope you got home safe. Joe, good to see you. Astro, there you go. No, I did not have a sleepover with Steve. He has to go home. You can always come.
I thought there was some weird variant universe
variant
that you were in. Yeah,
I hope you enjoyed it. It was good. It was good to see them. It's good to see the friends when they come by. So that was fun. But yeah, we kidnapped Sam. He's going to help us out with visions. We definitely are going to go over some of the headline stuff. But let's go over some pickups first. Since you're in the first spot, Jedi, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll show off two things. So as I mentioned last week, I've been kind of keeping an eye on eBay for cards and stuff, especially those sketch cards from Galaxy, which I think are pretty cool. Didn't get any because they're all still outside of my range. But, occasionally you see something and you think, I'll throw a bid in on this. And by God, sometimes you win it. Here is an autograph. Where am I going to do this? Of Obi-Wan Kenobi, autographed by James Arnold Taylor.
Nice.
And from the same seller, I have the fearless bad girl Ventress, autographed by Nika Futterman. So I thought those were pretty cool. So
are those already in their like slab case or something?
Yeah, they slab them for you, which I also thought was pretty cool.
That's
They're already
neat,
in the Star Wars slab.
Yeah, Shannon, no, Pete. He's watching wrestling, unfortunately, with his son. That's a good thing, though. All right, I went out for a little bit, and I did get a couple things. I guess I got a couple more than this, but I can show you a couple that I got, which I like. I got all variants pretty much this week. I don't know why I was on it because it was like a dollar variant day, I guess. So I got the Poe Durham, the variant for #1. You know this one, guys. Okay, and then the next one I got. This isn't a variant, but I always get this because I like this story. It's the Jabba tape. I don't know why I'm so infatuated with the Hutts. I like them. That's Dark Horse. This wasn't $1.
Cool cover.
This was actually $10, but anytime you can get a 1 in 100 for $10 or less, I suggest you get it, especially if it's in good shape. It's one of these sketch covers that may use. So for $10, which this is probably my third one to this one, so I might throw into a pack over on Renovision for our next giveaway. We'll see. And then hopefully, I've been trying to. I know I heard my intro, but apparently nobody here listens to me anyways. I'm going to try to get it to work because I asked somebody to do a on GameStop. I think we're going to do something with GameStop exclusive. So this is the Vader Down, another $1 book. It's still in the polys too. I bet you it's got scuff corners and spine.
Is that one by Greg Horn too, like the others? I haven't seen that one before.
No.
Nope, different ours.
Not all of them are Greg Horn. That's why I was going to do just Greg Horn.
You just did the 2 poster ones.
Yeah. But it's pretty dope for now.
Actually.
Still in the package and everything, and yeah. So that's what we got for Pit. Does anybody else know, JJ?
I got one.
Oh, JJ always
one thing. This is related to gaming, not GameStop, but a little half-price books pickup. They never have any comics I like. When I go to my local half-price books, like can never find jack there as far as comics go. But
nice game.
Yeah, Force Unleashed, the Ultimate Sith Edition, and check it out, complete with collectible cards and all that stuff.
So. Oh, it's got everything in there.
Yeah, fancy. Half-price books, believe it or not.
Nice. Perfect.
That's it. That's the only thing I got this week.
There is a black and white one. Yes. Sweet JJ. Yeah, JJ's getting sweet too. All right, let's start it off because I think we're going to go through the comics. We might go in pretty fast because we've got some great segments. Maybe they could be a train wreck. Look, Shannon kind of called it already, and it might be right. We don't have Pete here, so anything goes. It might be a train wreck, but I think some of them are going to be kind of a little bit enjoyable. So let's see what we can do. Let's get through our comic reviews first for this week. Then we'll run into the Vision stuff. By the way, for Vision, I don't know if we're clear about this, but Jedi did not watch Vision in English, right? How'd you watch it, Jedi?
I watched it not in English. I think it was Japanese.
Very good.
Pretty
sure.
Like Swahili or something.
So we'll have him do a review of the Japanese version of Visions. You don't speak Japanese, do you, Jedi?
Not fluently. I know a little bit. I lived there for quite a while when I was active duty, but I was too stubborn to really learn the language thoroughly. I speak a couple of phrases.
Good.
I didn't recognize anything in the Vision, so
excellent.
Are you familiar with the?
You didn't hear where the?
Are you familiar with this? Sorry.
No,
Are you familiar with the song "Turning Japanese"?
I am.
Okay.
And,
all right. Well, that's a start.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. There we go. Pretty much how that segment's going to go, too. So let's get into Vader Cat. You know what? Solo Wookiee's still on vacation, unfortunately. I know over a year ago, we used to rave when it was just like me, him, and Mike Morello about Vader's castles, how much we loved them in their covers. I still like kind of what they're doing here, especially because Dawn of the Dead is kind of, I love Dawn of the Dead, so I was excited about these 2 covers that came out, the A and the V cover. That's actually some of my favorite zombies. We go back to Vader's castle. It's kind of picking up after, this is like the 3rd installment, correct? 3rd installment of Vader's castle.
I think.
Fourth.
I think.
Wow. All right. We've got the Crypt Keeper / the what do they call these guys? Not Sith Apprentice. What do they call them? Whatever. Acolyte. The Acolyte is in there. Yeah. And he's showing a little flashback to the last Vader castle and that he's going to try to bring back the Vader from the dead. Fair enough. Then we get the Graph Kids. They're in a cool building. This is kind of cool. I wish they would do more into it. This might be something cool if they ever do get into, if they ever do like a cartoon version of some of the craft store. Because remember, these graphs, although they do have High Republic connections, also are kind of in some of the kiddie storyline books. Like their little readers and in the adventure comics. So if they ever do a graphs thing, it would be nice if they get into the graph archives on Orchis Sec 2. It's kind of like a huge library / dormitory. Either way, they go and start telling their story that they're going to tell, and it's about our man Darth Jar Jar Binks. I actually think Scott was linking up. We've always heard about the rumors of Darth Jar Jar, and I think this book kind of clues in that there is actually a Darth Jar Jar. So the droid somehow can start infecting each other. And it's very zombie-ish like. Since
Computer virus?
what's that?
Computer virus?
Yeah, but it isn't. It's like a computer zombie virus.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was all right. It was kind of cool. Well, they get a hold of Jar Jar, and then this is where we're saying I think he does have it because everybody's always questioning if he's just a goof. And I think this is where Scott teaches us that no, he actually has this awesome force power, and it's probably he just doesn't use it because he's part of the dark side. He gets with his tongue this sheet and slices off Anakin's metal fake arm that's trying to somehow kill people because it's possessed. Like that. If he's such a clown and he doesn't have these abilities, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be able to do it. So I definitely think he is. I think this is our proof that we've been looking for, that he is force sensitive. Somehow now I don't get this part. R2D2 links up with C3PO. Then now all of a sudden he's possessed. So they go into the thing, and it didn't look like they could possess organics, but apparently they could because at the end of the story, Darth Jar Jar is now Darth Zombie Jar Jar. So there you go. Unfortunately, it was a dream, so that'll be the end of that. They do show that this is going to be kind of interesting. We got the 50-foot Wookiee attack next time, but this link up right here shows that the Graf's robot betrayed him. But somehow it looks like
there's so many references in this book,
Yeah.
like horror movies to like
Yeah.
that is like Forbidden Planet pose there, or like the last panel.
Absolutely. I don't think that's Vader in the background, but I think they're trying to make it sound like it's his Lord, but whatever. I don't actually think it's Vader. But they are trying to bring back Vader. It's a good book. I thought it was good. I don't know what you guys thought about it. I think it's right on par.
I'm gonna miss it. This is the last series.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it. It's like a Halloween tradition at this point.
Right. Yeah, they got it out early this year though.
Yeah.
Usually I thought it was a couple weeks later. Either way, next up is Bounty Hunters, and like JJ said in the intro, Jedi said in the intro, unfortunately, it's a rehash from a book like 2 weeks ago. But I cut that portion out of it and I fast forwarded a little bit and just took out the sections that we really want. So it's pre the War of the Bounty Hunters. What was that, number 3 or number 4? Was it 3 that we reviewed last week? So It starts off pre that, where you see Valance actually flying in. He does a little flashback where he calls his girlfriend. I do like this added in adopted kid and girlfriend that he's got in here, which is kind of dope. I think it gives him a little bit more humanity or a human aspect than the original Valance in the original Marvel run. And also they can do a lot more things with it. She's part of on the Rebels planet. However, they get back to Bosk. If you remember from War of Bounty Hunters, Bosk got locked up by Boba Fett, wasn't it? Outside, where he trapped him in because Bosk was coming after him.
He blew his legs off.
Yeah, and blew his legs off. And he was supposed to be able to... Well, is his leg still blown off? Because I thought he regenerated him already.
He said he was going to regenerate. They'll just come back, is what he said. Mm-hmm. So I assume.
So we're not sure if they're back yet. We'll check out this. But
I don't know if he's got like a Darth Maul thing going on there.
Yeah, because later on we'll show you what happens. But either way, so those two, Dangir and Valance run into him. I fast forwarded to this scene because all the rest of it we've seen before in War of Bounty Hunter, where it picks up where Valance is at the back of Bo's head. This is where it starts to change places. In War of Bounty Hunters, they didn't get this far into it. You thought maybe him and Dengar went together. They don't. Boba Fett talks Valance into like, hey, look, Dengar is going to betray you. Let's just get out of here and we'll go together and you can save Han and I'll steal Han. I don't know how that
Dengar. Nobody likes Dengar.
Yeah, I know, right? But Dengar says, he's like, hey, man, you can't leave me here. You're going to betray me. He's like, I was going to backstab you too. I mean, it is the truth. Yeah. There it is. So he's got this cool yellow Vero blade, though. That was kind of dope. But I don't think it's going to kill the ice monster, which he looks, I'm done. He is the worst bounty hunter. But in the meantime, we get our 2 seconds of fame from Death Sticks, because now she showed up for, what is this?
I think like
1/2 a panel.
This is the most dialogue I think we've gotten out of her. Though, right?
Might be, yeah.
It's one extra word bubble than normal.
I just found out this is like what, a 36-page or 36 issue run series or whatever. I think we get maybe like 20 pages total so far of Death Stick. Maybe.
Yeah, across all the books.
Yeah, across everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've gotten something maybe
almost
20 word bubbles out of
almost half a comic's worth, maybe.
Right. So we're almost there now. Between her and Lone Pop, we almost have a full comic between the two of them. But apparently she's going to go after the girlfriend and the stepdaughter, so that's pretty cool.
So I'm not the only one that was disappointed that Dengar didn't die. I was thinking they're going to let him die. I was like, he's going to die. That's going to be it. No.
Yeah, well, we know that he's not dead because he shows up later on.
Mm-hmm.
So we know he's not dead. But Yeah, no, but it would be nice if they ate him and then spit him out, a la Sarlacc, Boba Fett. I think that's a possibility. That would have been fun.
Yeah, it's
But-
kind of like Ochi's the same way. Ochi,
Yeah,
just
like
being
we know Ochi's
he
dead.
dies randomly in the desert later on. Like I know he's not gonna like.
Well, it wasn't like randomly. Wasn't it Luke Skywalker? Or did Luke Skywalker find him dying? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, but I mean, my point is he doesn't die in these series of books.
When does he show up again? Refresh my memory. I'm drawing a blank. He shows up later, and
yeah, because this is pre. Is this pre Jedi? This is pre Jedi.
Post. Yeah, pre Jedi, post Empire.
Post Empire.
Yeah, so he was in Jedi. No.
Oh, you're talking about the movie? No, in the comics that were around that time.
Yeah, I guess they could. Yeah, they could
They
kill.
could kill him off in the middle of it.
Yeah,
they could.
I don't know though. I don't know. I've almost come to around to the feeling that like they're not going to kill anybody off that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm the same way. I agree.
Yeah,
but I
the
thought
stakes are
maybe,
too low. But yeah,
I thought okay, they're going to kill somebody. They didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it is, they'll find some way to bring him back. It's
Yeah,
it's gonna be like a Wanda dies in X-Men theory going on or something.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up. Oh, still. So we have the other portion of the story too. This actually was pretty good. We will remember the group here that's kneeling down because they are on a book I'll show you again that everybody hated last week. But I liked it so much I'm going to show it to us again. We've got two who is he was the guy in Force Awakens. Is that the first garbage J.J. Abrams movie?
Tasso Leach.
Yeah. He's a lot younger here. He was the guy that was trying to hunt down Han Solo. We got Tongo. And then we got Suckus. So I don't know when Forlom's coming back, but should be soon. They end up running into Bosk also. And this is where I think he's got his legs back, right? Because how else is he jumping up and talk? Yeah.
I mean, like I said, unless he's got unknown to us like a Darth Maul thing going on, it's got to be his legs, I would think.
Yeah, that's got to be his. I'm trying to see if that's he's got to be a leg thing. Either way. So we got Valera. For some reason, they did a one page with Valera and one of Kira's assistant. I don't even know why they wasted the page on that, but I guess they had to put something in there, and they're just watching shots go off down low. So there you go. That was that. This is the book I'm talking about. Yay! This is the greatest cover ever. I think it's awesome and amazing. I hope they never change it, and nobody else thinks that. So, but the B Squad of Bounty Hunters, we just saw that. So we obviously they're going to be making a couple more appearances. Coming next week, we have got Star Wars Adventures, the second half of the Mace Windu story that didn't turn out well. It could pick up. Pick up. And then we do get a new story with kind of newish characters. So for the second half of that book, which is great. 10's the B cover. We get Vader's Castle. We mentioned already.
Is that Mace Windu story only 2 parts? Because there's only 2 connecting covers. I'm trying to figure out if it goes on longer. But
the third one doesn't connect.
I didn't read solicits far enough ahead.
The third one might connect. I didn't read the solicitation.
But hopefully they give us more than that. Like I only had to sit through 8 issues of Luke and Leia story that I hated. So give me more Mace Windu.
I think we were so excited to get away from the Luke and Leia story that we wanted the Mace story to be so good. And it's turning out that's just okay.
High expectations.
So, yeah. Right.
Low delivery.
Absolutely. Also, we've got Ghost of Vader's Castle's coming, and we get one of Jedi's favorite characters, Jackson the Rabbit.
Yeah, this better not just be like cover candy. He needs to be in the story, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be in there.
Yeah.
We'll get him. I thought you didn't like him, but it's gonna have Wookiee and Jackson. Yeah.
Ever since I learned how his ancestors can make themselves invisible,
it's not the same character. They're not even the same species.
Is he like a Jedi Easter bunny?
No, he's
not a Jedi.
Yeah, he's not. He came from the old comics that they just brought him over. He was just like a ploy of to create slapstick comedy in the original Marvel run.
We'll get to Jedi Easter bunnies in the second half of the video.
He actually was kind of like a pirate. He was a pirate who had like a prostitute as a friend that went around space. So that's fun. Fun fact, right? Like that one girl that wore fishnets, and it was part of his definitely a hooker. So there's that.
Well, he looks like my high school mascot.
Uh-huh.
He's also on one of the rarest covers that I can never obtain. Apparently,
was it the 1 in 1,000?
1 in 4,999.
It's the JJ's white whale.
Yep.
Coming next week, we've got War of the Bounty Hunters, the Star Wars, which is it's interesting. These are some of the covers. I would like to add a correction because I did say, hey, they never actually made this card backing, and some people, including somebody who's not here, said, yeah, of course they did. And so I decided to look it up because I was like, I don't remember. In that card backing, they actually didn't make it in the original Star Wars card backing. They did, however, make a tri backing in Europe, which is the one to the left. And then, of course, they made the Power of the Force. Both of these are extremely expensive. So if you see them, feel free to pick them up. But they didn't make them in the original Kenner line. Which is kind
some of those Power of the Force, just the coins go for a good amount of money.
Go for amount of money. Yeah, it's not. These aren't cheap. All right. Next up, coming next week, we got 2 second prints. Does anybody know why we have second prints of these? But JJ, I think you called it on number 8. You said that would be a great portion for a second print, that page. And guess what? They made it a second print. There we go.
I don't really know why we have War of the Bounty Hunters 3 second print. Like, they're nothing super. I mean, I know Kira fights Vader for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, but the little stick things.
That was worth a second print, apparently.
No. That's not even the one Boss lost his legs in. It was the one before that, right?
No. Yeah, it's not Long Pop's first appearance. Like, I can't think of anything that went on in that book that really was that important to.
So, Chad, if you could think of a good reason why anybody should be buying the second print, go ahead. We heard that rumor too, Astro. Maybe we should. I was asking the boys if we should talk about rumors, but we didn't get into it.
Yeah.
Ghost of Vader Castle's The Evil End is on FOC. I really love the B cover on this. But it looks like they're bringing back some of the original crew from the last storylines. And then FOC, dude, the B cover. First off, okay, the story on A is going to be okay for the villain. No, so that, yes, by the way, you asked, and the answer is they're done with the Vader story. They're going to go to a female TIE fighter storyline for adventures. But the second half of it actually is kind of cool because, I'm a big fan of everything that has to deal with Hutts and everything else. And B-U-B-O, the boo-boo-ocular. It's a little toad frog. It's a toad dog. It's the pet of Jabba the Hutt.
Now all I can think of is Mr. Burns' bear, Bo.
yeah, that's not it. I'm not saying that right. But either way, so he is he's going to be featured in this, which is great because I think we're going to get some Max Rebo band and a couple other things in there. He's going to tour around the castle.
Is that the Rancor in the back?
That is. I actually like the cover. I know some people probably aren't going to like it, but I think it's dope. So there we go. Oh, by the way, first appearance of that boo-boo, just in case, because everybody likes first appearance, is that Jedi book, the one from the original Marvel run, the purple one. You guys remember that? Yeah.
Oh, the Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, Return of the Jedi. So don't worry. That's not why you pick up this book. You pick up this book because it's going to be fun. However, it might be the first of that TIE pilot. So, but should be a good book. Hopefully, but we all hope.
I wonder if they'll do a. I haven't read the solicit of that. I wonder if it's based off like squadrons or anything.
It kind of hinted like it might be. It might be something interesting. Squadrons or alphabet. So, all right. Next up, we've got the Darth Vader run. I know you guys hate these, but Forlom and Zuckus are back on an orange cover, so I'll be getting that.
That looks like a Halloween cover.
Yeah, it's cool. The part that's disappointing is the Darth Maul and Savage cover because it looks cool here, but do remember that sure as heck looks like a Sprouse, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
So that means they're going to gold it instead of using the regular trade dress. This is a black and white, which I put this in black and white because this is actually the A cover. The black and white, they hadn't at time when we made these slides come out with what the actual ratio variant's going to look like. So keep an eye out for that. Should be probably tomorrow or today when they do that. And then we've got the High Republic. This is kind of cool because they're going in with the Nihil thing and they're really getting into
a lot of D. Lot of D.
Lot of D. Yeah, but also getting into what's her name? The one that turns into the Lost 20, and she's gonna have to decide to kill somebody and stuff like that. So yeah. Hopefully it turns out to be good, and hopefully one of the twins ends up dying. All right, good stuff. Am I
the only one to find it odd that they would send like only one of the twins on an undercover mission?
Well, I mean, maybe it's so the other one can sense what's going on.
I guess maybe they would like identify them too easily as twins. Like, oh hey, there's two guys that look identical. Like I think I've seen them as Jedi before or something.
I think you're thinking too much into it. I mean, it is Star Wars. And finally,
redundancy.
Finally, we have IG-88. There's going to be an IG-88 one-shot story. this is going to be a story about him being rebuilt. Oh, by the way, we may get a cameo at least from our friend we just talked about her, Lone Pop. She's going to have a little bit of something to do with this story, or maybe she's not, but she is, guys. She is.
Am I the only one? The cover on the left, does that remind anybody else of something?
Terminator.
Exactly.
It 100% is. So that's cool. So hopefully they'll give us more than one page of Lone Pop, but from what I've heard, or if somebody has seen these because they have a preview out already, I wouldn't hold your breath. Okay, that is the comic review. Hopefully we went through it fast. Next up,
That was a brisk pace. Great brisk.
What did I do
pace.
it in? 25. That's faster than we normally do. Yeah, that cover is hot. I hope it looks like that's going better. Max, good to see you. Hey, Leftover, how you doing? Wait, I make a show. I know, but Shannon? Who's going to buy that second print? It's not like it was a book that sold out either.
I think some people just buy every second print.
Yeah,
and when it's Star Wars, it's probably me. But
this is a very interesting thing because me and actually last night on MCM when I stopped by for 2 minutes, we had the wonderful, the great, what's his name? Tony Fleek.
Fleek.
And then we were talking to Tony, and I was like, "Hey," and they kind of brought it up, and then me and him started really getting into it. And then, of course, McClay came back from his smoke break and just bombarded the room. But the question was, we were questioning the site that it released from because that site has a tendency to fuck out of its ass. And then his point was, well, they didn't come back out and deny it, which I then retorted, yeah, but if you were denying everything that came out of that website, you would literally be talking all the time because that's all it does. It drops bullshit content all the time. So
yeah, what they did was they were like, so they kind of broke, I guess, if you want to call it breaking, the Marvel action story that they were dropping that line. But like that line's only been printed with IDW for like 2 years? Mm-hmm. Not long. You're talking since like 2016, I think.
Yeah,
early adventures. So
they might. Well, so that's the other thing too. Who knows which one? There's also, you got to remember, there's also 3 storylines they're doing through IDW. We do know that Vader Castle is going to end through there, so that might be one of the clues that it might actually end through there. Yeah. The other one is that they might. I mean, I don't think. Well, they have to finish through with the High Republic stuff, which is going to take another 6 months, anyways. So, but yeah, maybe they'll get rid of the main adventures line. Or the villainy or whatever. That thing hasn't worked too well anyhow. I don't know.
I mean, I just don't see the problem with the story is a couple different things. Like they posited and they said, well, maybe Scholastic will print it. Why would Scholastic prints trades? They don't really print comics. They have Scholastic variants I've seen in the past, but like as far as like publishing like a monthly or weekly comic, I don't know that Scholastic does that. And I don't know why they would give them the thing to like, oh, hey, you're Scholastic.
Well, I mean, weird. Like sometimes take it from the source.
Yeah. If anything, I would think like Boom is kind of an interesting option because Disney does own part of that. So,
well, I mean, I'd understand if they said they were giving the rest of it into the Golden Books or whatever they were trying to do something like that. I think what they're saying with Scholastics is because when you had Scholastics do they'd all come back as like a TPB. It wouldn't be an individual shot anymore. That's the only way that would work out, I think. Hey Patrick, what's going on?
What if they're upset then they separated was it Monsters at Temple Peak into 4 issues?
Yeah.
Disney's probably like, what the hell is this decision?
Yeah, no, I mean like that's probably a bad decision, but once again, whatever. All right. So next up, are you ready? Jedi, are you ready for your moment to shine?
This is going to be great.
I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Use the Force.
Okay, I am going to get this ready. I'm going to get this ready for Jedi's moment to shine.
I have to read off the notes because I'm trying my best to erase it all from my memory. To be quite honest with you.
Wait a minute. So let me get this straight though. You didn't actually like watch the actual episode and like understand it, but you somehow took notes without understanding it.
I think I took notes, and we're going to see how well I did because part of me really believes, especially on some of the episodes. Now, this may turn out I'm just 100% wrong. Part of me thinks that you didn't really need any dialogue to understand what was going on, and some of these anyway. But we'll see. Yeah. I mean, maybe
Justin, hold on. I'm sorry. I have to. Yeah. I sent a message back to him. I was late. Justin, hit me up on the IG. I will forward your information to Stick. You did win. Justin's the guy who won. He read last week. It was There's Something That Nobody Ever Reads. It's the little thing. There's like a thing that I have to put up every time with every show. Like
Video
a little
description.
Yeah, the video description. Nobody ever reads that shit, but he does. So he won. So there you go. All right. Go ahead, Jedi. Sorry to interrupt.
All right, so we'll start off with the easy part. So it was called The Duel. That was pretty easy. It was in black and white. So apparently there's this dude. He had like a scar on his face, and he had a bamboo droid. It wasn't really bamboo, but he had bamboo. The droid had like a R2 unit, had like a bamboo hat on. At first, I'm like, he gave the guy at the bar a bunch of money, or I said he's either like a Robin Hood or he's got like a really big bar tab. I don't know which one. So he's in the middle of all that, and then the stormtroopers come in. And I realized right then and there that stormtroopers are dicks in any language. It really doesn't matter. And I think they were hunting rebels. I think that's what they were doing. And then there was this Sith. I called her the Stiletto Sith because she wore stiletto heels, that has to be comfortable. And then there was some fat guy sleeping. I couldn't tell if the fat guy's sleeping. Obviously, he wasn't important. I don't know if he was sleeping in the walker thing or if he was sleeping in the ball. I don't know where he was. And then there was a little girl who like stood up against the Empire and said, "No." I don't know if it was a girl. I think it was a girl.
Don't interrupt him, JJ.
Yeah. Said no. And then the Jedi apparently didn't care until his droid got shot in some crossfire, and then that kind of pissed him off. And then the droid, I think, was a distant cousin of BT-1 or something because he had some firepower. And maybe he was like the base model of BT-1 before all the upgrades. And so they went through and just kicked butt. And then they had the one-on-one showdown. And their lightsabers don't extinguish, so I don't know how they don't cut their leg. But I think they won in the end.
Cool. Yeah.
Well said. Yeah.
I like the guy that was sleeping. He was definitely sleeping.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
You miss a lot when they're.
All right. Next up, good review on that one. Oh,
right,
did
okay.
you like it? Did you like it? Did you like number one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. All right.
No.
I guess
1 to 5.
okay.
What'd you get on it?
I liked it. I hated it. No. I disliked
You liked
it less.
it,
I disliked it less than some of the others. Okay.
Let me ask this. I don't mean to interrupt, but let me ask this. You did realize the connection to like the old Japanese movies, right? Just the visually, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. We'll go over
It
what
didn't move me in any direction though.
Yeah, I don't think he's a big Kurosawa film.
Okay,
all right.
so the next one's Tattoo Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
This was the one I disliked the least. So there was it was like a Padawan or something. Padawan Force sensitive was running from Boba Fett because Boba Fett was hunting him, and he gets away and he joins a band, and Boba Fett goes after him, and then Boba Fett can't read my writing here.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. So it was like a Jabba's band or something, or Jabba's son or cousin or nephew or whatever. Jabba's son's band. He saved him from Boba Fett. He was like, hell no, I need a lead singer. So they run away in their white van spaceship, and then Boba Fett catches up to him and shoots him down. And then the emo Padawan was like, no, I owe this guy my life. This, because Boba Fett didn't want him. He wanted Jabba's son. So the emo Padawan was like, no, I owe Jabba's kid my life. So we're going to go I thought they were going to rescue him, but it ended up playing at a sold out gig at Jabba's palace. And then they were like videos. So they go like galaxy wide. Everybody loves them. And somewhere along the line, he turned his lightsaber into a microphone. That was pretty cool. And then, Jabba became a fan, and even Boba Fett was tapping his foot. So that was pretty cool. No, that's the one I liked. I disliked the least.
All right, cool. Next up is 3. That's kind of what that was about. Yeah.
Am I doing all right? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, look.
This is where I go off the rails, I think.
Okay.
This is the one I did not like this one at all.
This one's definitely tough to understand with there's
twin,
no audio or no word.
Oh yeah, this was tough to watch live.
So at first I thought there was like some Vader twins going on here, and like they lived on the same ship, but they were like separated at the middle of this twin ship. I was like, I don't know.
You actually got it right, 100%.
They're both on the ship, but they're like, I don't know what's going on. Why they can't like be good neighbors? And then there's like a giant crystal that was powering the super weapon. But these two, I later found out they didn't like or trust each other at all. And then I don't know if they were Luke and Leia, but once they took their mask off, I'm like, maybe it's Luke and Leia. And then so Luke steals the crystal, but Leia like uses the Force and pulls his X-wing back and crashes it, or so we thought. Luke and Leia start tug-of-warring over the crystal. The crystal shatters. Leia gets a big piece and powers up her Vader Iron Man Grievous suit and lightsabers that are like whips now, right? Yep. And cattle whips. And then Luke, he gets a smaller piece, but he supercharges his lightsaber with that.
Yep.
Leia blasts Luke into space, so she wins. I guess their little fight. But R2-D2, or I don't know if it's R2-D2, it looked like R2-D2, saves Luke in the X-Wing because it didn't really crash like I thought it did. And then Leia is she's being overwhelmed by this power of this large bleeding crystal. So I had to take 2 pages of notes on this one.
It was the longest episode out of the 5 I think you watched. So
Luke like super, not just super. He supercharges his lightsaber with the X-Wing's help, and he goes like flying, and he like starts cutting the Star Destroyer in half with his lightsaber. And then, 000 say, which is what I don't know, the C-3PO 000 looking droid saves bad Leia, who should have, in my opinion, been sliced in 2 by that lightsaber, but apparently she's like immune to lightsabers, and they don't hurt her. And then Luke crashes very neatly, nose first, into the sand of Tatooine.
Awesome. Go ahead, give him another spot on. He's 3 for 3. Where did you rank this out of the 5 episodes? So we've got your number 1. This is number 2. Number 2 was the first episode. Then where does this go?
Well, I don't know. These last ones were so unlikable for me. I'm going to say this one is like 4th from the worst. I don't know.
Okay.
It's really hard for me to differentiate.
All right.
And then so we got the wait a minute. I might have skipped one. Oh yeah, the Village Bride. This one, this is probably the one I didn't like the most. Yeah. So there's some girl who can't walk, and she's being carried by some poor dude. And I later find out, I guess they're getting married by a magic rock, and 2 people are watching, and I'm like, is this their parents? Who is this? Who's watching these 2 people? It's kind of creepy. So then there's a wedding banquet, and their friends like feel betrayed by something. I don't know. I don't know what they were being betrayed by. Maybe they didn't like what was served at the wedding. I don't know. And then I can't read my writing. Oh, one of them is So the one lady that I thought might be the parent, she's like a Force user, I guess. I kind of saw that coming, but and they did some flashbacks throughout to the Clone Wars. And then come find out their friends were probably rebels or something, and the Empire shows up or something, or maybe the Separatists, who's somebody. And then they're going to like kill their friends, and the mom Jedi comes in and stops the laser blast and is like, no. And then she's like, the other dude was like a sniper, so he's like starts shooting these droids from the mountains, and they all get away, and not they all get away. The mom Jedi gets in a ship and leaves, and the sniper guy is like, hey, thanks a lot. And I guess they all lived happily ever after on their little moon or whatever.
No, Ruben. All right, cool. You're dead on though. Got it right, 100% again. You're 4 for 4.
Man, now I'm getting.
And you ought to be doing these without notes.
Yeah. All right. Last
Your
one.
notes are spot on. We ought to just have you do it from memory.
Yeah.
Oh, that would yeah. I definitely need to study. So the last one's called the Ninth Jedi. This was the longest
this
one, I
was the
think,
longest
right?
one.
So since it's the longest one, it's probably the one I dislike the most.
Okay.
So this girl is lives with some, I don't know, her uncle or something, and they like fish. They got these big rod and reels, and they're like fishing for like asteroids out of the sky that have crystals and stuff. Because her uncle like uses them to make like black market lightsabers or something like that. And then it like flashes back, and it's like then it goes to this group of 8 Jedi. I don't know if it's really 8. I didn't count. I assumed if she was the 9th and they were the 8. So there's a group of 8 Jedi standing around. They're just like shooting the bull. And then it goes back, and the bad guys are like some sort of samurai droids fly down. And the dad sends the girl running away with a bundle of lightsabers. Like, here, take these and protect them. And then goes back to the 8 Jedi. And then there's like the big wise droid Jedi who has like the kind of Darth Vader voice. Gives the other Jedis like this Excalibur lightsaber thing. And then they're like very, awe of this thing. They're like, and I think they like light it up and like, ooh. And then the little girl, like she's a Padawan now. She's some sort of force because she's like doing some pretty cool stuff to evade those bad droids. And the droids, apparently droids drink tea on this planet wherever they are.
Yep.
And
true.
the girl finds, so after drinking his tea, because it's tea time, the droid flies her to the 8 Jedi, and that's when like I completely I lost the bubble at that point. I'm like, I don't know what is going on. First I thought like the 8 Jedi were really Sith, and they were tricking us the whole time, and then I got like confused because the droid, the big droid with Darth Vader voice, he had like some little dude in him, and I guess he was good because his lightsaber was blue or something. And at the end, I didn't know what was going on. I don't know who. I was strictly going by the cover of the lightsabers. If it wasn't for the lightsabers, I don't know who's good and who's bad.
I can see this being confusing. Yes. I can see it as being confusing. Good job. Hey.
So, yeah, I didn't really like them, and we can get into more of that after you do the legit review.
nailed it.
I don't know if Marco's going to want me to do this again next week, but I'm really
absolutely.
not looking forward.
Guys, give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. We had like 34, 35 in the chat. We get 10 thumbs up. He's doing it again next week for the back half, which, by the way, next week I will agree with the chat. They had one of the episodes next week I truly enjoyed. I thought it was a gem among all of them. All right. So good job, Jedi. Congratulations. I think everybody, pretty close. Not really, but yeah. I like the sleeping guy. By the way, spoiler alert, he's dead. So here we go. Yeah, that's what dead people look like, apparently. All right, so let's figure out. Oh man, I almost just shut it all down, didn't I?
Yeah, I don't really know how I'm supposed to do a review of these things now.
Nah, you and Sam could get on to talk to it a little bit better. Maybe go over what actually happened.
It's going to be a little duplication.
Yeah, just tell me about that, especially the last one. Last one, just I don't know, man. That one.
You're the guy.
All right, go through and kind of tell us what you guys thought about this. I'll tell you this. I thought this out of the group. There's 2 of them that I wouldn't mind watching again that I actually liked. And it was this one, the duel, and the other one that I liked was the band one. So, but here, have at it, Sam, and now it's Sam and JJ's turn to tell us what really happened.
Well, I think it's interesting to give a little bit of background. Not all of these directors are veteran directors. The director of the duel, for example, most of his directing has been in the form of video games, and this was like his first short film direction, and you can tell he's got a lot of experience with the kind of technical stuff, because while it's all black and white, there are little bits of color in the lighting here and there throughout the duel. It was a really cool aesthetic in my point of view, but the story, Jedi nailed the story pretty much, but
those are bandits, by the way, Jedi, not stormtroopers. They're
yeah,
just wearing
the
stolen
bandits.
stormtrooper armor.
And he's a Ronin.
And he's a Ronin, yeah. And Ronin is a masterless samurai who's just kind of roaming the galaxy, and he has a red lightsaber, but he's not a Sith, and he's not a Jedi. He has the red lightsaber, but his control of the Force after. Go ahead.
I have a question about that, JJ, and maybe you can get this is something we could probably argue for hours about. I understood that the one group was Rebel Sith, right? So they are from other Sith faction. I thought this had a lot to do with this guy must have read World of the Siths, and like that's kind of how I saw it. Like the Ronin was an outcast from a other Sith clan that
he appeared to be like a Sith hunter. I don't know if you ever like from the Galaxy's games.
Yeah,
sure. Like they went around and collected like the Sith crystals or Sith lightsabers. So that's kind of what it reminds me a lot of as far as that.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like Planet of the Sith, where they had like the Sith that would be pushed out of some of the communities and then roam, and they'd start their own little stuff. So I that's how I took it. I think he was a Sith. I just think he was not that.
But he says, "I am." Fortunately, I'm not a Jedi.
He says, "I'm not a Jedi." Yeah. And then
he says he's not a Jedi.
Yeah. Fair enough. Go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
And then this kid on the left here, that hairstyle is like very. If you go back to like feudal Japan, the leaders of the villages would have shaved heads and top knots and long hair on the side. So even the leaders would have their heads shaved like to make them look like old men. But this little kid has like inherited the leadership of the village, and when the bandits show up and start demanding things, he stands up and he says, "We're not giving you anything," and he calls for an attack. There's snipers and stuff waiting in the wings who show up and start shooting at him, and that's when the stiletto Sith, as you call her, pops out, and now they're in trouble.
I like the stiletto Sith where she had the thing she could insert it and it could cause the umbrella popped up.
Umbrella, yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, those weapons are all
cool minigun too.
Yeah, those weapons are like really reminiscent of like ninja weapons from Japanese history and Kurosawa movies, and it's very much they just kind of taking Japanese style movies and storytelling and putting them into a Star Wars kind of package for everybody. But a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really cool. The aesthetic, the vibe, the flow of the story was really neat. I think this was probably my favorite out of all of them.
That was kind of weird how the droid all of a sudden had like an arsenal that just took everybody out, but it was fun with the beeping thing.
Well, they foreshadowed it because he's like, "I need my droid fixed by the time this tea boils."
Yeah.
Hurry up and get it done.
Yeah, the dad was the dead one that the kid was there. This was kind of cool too how they did at the end where they put
it's hard to see in these screenshots because of the but basically she's fighting through a waterfall. But
you have the stiletto Sith, and she comes in and she's used the Force to position a log at the top of the waterfall so she can, because she tries slashing through the waterfall and it just the water kind of puts out the plasma beam from her sword, right? Mm-hmm. And so she uses the log at the top of the waterfall to create a little gap, and then she sees this lightsaber within and makes her move, only to find out it's a decoy. Mm-hmm. And then she gets
she gets backstabbed. Which I don't know, was that like I couldn't, it looked like it was a sheath. So the sheath is both the sheath and the sword are both a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Well, he had tons of them, I thought. I thought he had tons of.
Yeah, I thought he did too. Like if you look at his setup, where's the gear?
Well, he has two. He has one, but he never draws the other one.
Yeah, you're right.
He never drew it, but I don't know.
I don't know.
So samurai were always required to carry two swords with them. And I think that's probably the cultural bit that maybe we're lacking, is that, like a cowboy always had two guns. A samurai always had two swords. So he just put one in that statue, and then he had the backup to make that final move.
I thought this was. We've seen the chat, and there's a lot of people.
Maybe that's what
saying
makes him the Sith rebel, because Darth Vader says you only need one.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So he's got a bunch, and he gives the kid one and tells him to get off. And then here we go. What'd you say about this? I know
there's a real. I just put the book synopsis up there in case anybody wants to go back and read it. But basically, so I find it interesting though in the synopsis because it says the Jedis are loyal servants of the Empire. I don't know if that was a misprint in the back. So this is the synopsis. It's on the back of the book that they give you, and it says 2 decades later, the Jedi services are feuding with lords. So basically, like I couldn't figure out there is a Sith rebellion that fails, which probably that's where the Ronin comes from. He's probably part of the rebellion that fails. But are the Sith the good guys? Because why would the Jedi be loyal service to the Empire? Pretty weird, right? But then in this episode, she obviously was a Sith, so maybe she was also part of the Sith rebellion, and they both failed. She's just evil as hell. I don't know. But
I thought she was part of the Sith rebellion that failed, but I think he might. Like I said, I think it might be rolling tries. Yeah. We got to read it. We'll see it. We'll figure it out. It doesn't come out till October 12th, so we'll obviously
also be interesting. He's an interesting character that I would love to get background on. So I'm definitely going to be reading the novel. But
absolutely,
because like Sam said, it's a masterless samurai. Like, so who was the master too?
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, there is a Sith rule too, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but that's why I was bringing up the stuff with the Planet of the Sith is because that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? Like we know Rule of 2 from the Palpatine stuff.
Yeah. Well, Rule of 2 was mainly Bane, but yeah.
Bane, yeah. But even before that, I mean, there was Sith 1, stuff like that. So, they've always used different types of Sith. I will agree with chat on this. I thought this was, for somebody who isn't generally into this was a standout. This one right here was the standout out of all of them, which is kind of tough because it's the first one, and they started off good. So there we go. The second one, guys. This is the hero's name's Jay, huh?
Jay.
In English, he was voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And it was cute. I thought they did an animation style that's very like cutesy. Had a very childish vibe to it.
Do you know the studio, Sam? Cooler. I don't know. I don't know. I ever saw anything they've ever done.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it, but it's very reminiscent of Soul Eater. The animation style reminds me of Soul Eater. It was just like real cutesy. Wasn't a whole lot of violence. The stakes were, someone was going to get executed, but they didn't really show a whole lot of the execution style or the platform or what they were planning on doing. Even Boba Fett looked like, he had the big head and the small body proportions.
Short.
Yeah, they call that the chibi style. So he's looking very chibi. It just was very childish.
Was the Hutt supposed to be the nephew?
I couldn't figure that out. Part of the family, and that's why he was supposed to come back because he basically broke ranks from the Hutt cartel. But I couldn't figure out the relation actually there. I don't know if it was like cousin or what. I don't know.
And you got it right. They were going to execute him, but for some reason they talked.
Right. First off, I should go back because. In Jedi Synopsis, he didn't really know. But I'm thinking this, from where they said it takes place, he's a Padawan, and I'm thinking he's on the run from Order 66.
Yes, he's on the run from Order 66.
Yeah, so
I think it was implied. And
that's where when he falls into the ship and he meets Gee. Gee, by the way, is the Hutt, which is short for Geezer, which is weird.
Gee wants to start a band, so he does.
Yeah, so he does. With a random Jedi Padawan that he finds, and
they're not
a droid and the guy with 3 heads.
They never
Wait. So they weren't already a band whenever the Jedi stumbled upon them?
No.
Wow, they're really good then.
No, they're not because they never finished the show. They haven't finished the show.
They mentioned that.
They always get chased off by the heavy hitters.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like the music my kids listened to when they were teenagers.
Awesome. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So then they, Boa goes out and grabs him, takes him back.
And Ruben brings up a good point in the chat. That was... is it Tomera? Is that how you say his first name? Morrison, who actually voiced Fett in this.
Tamora, the guy who plays Boba Fett in Mandalorian, and who was Jango Fett in the Clones.
Was the music, the lyrics, the song in English, or was it in Japanese?
English. It both. English if you listen to the English audio.
I mean, it was definitely Japanese when I listened to it, but I wondered the ones you guys listened to.
Yeah, no, they had Joseph Gordon-Levitt was sitting there singing.
Yeah,
Really?
Yep.
100%. Yep. So they get to do one more. So this is where it differs. They talk somehow they talk Jabba into letting him do one show, one song, and he agreed to it for some reason, and they could kill the nephew, Geezer. So they do their song, and you were right.
Everybody loves it. It's a smash hit. It's a hit. Even Boba Fett sitting there sipping his.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's boba tea. I don't know.
Yeah, sipping on the boba tea. So they let him do a second song, and I guess that's the end of it.
And then they con Jabba into becoming the record producer, I guess.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, he becomes their manager. He's booking gigs. He's booking gigs
cute.
for
It
him on
wasn't bad,
Tatooine.
right? Like, I mean, it was.
Who better to be your manager than the Hutt cartel? I mean, it's like the Godfather. Nobody's gonna mess with you then.
I mean, it wasn't terror. Not all Star Wars is for everybody, but I didn't think it was the worst. By far, I didn't think it was the worst.
Pure Star Wars fans it's weird because I know Jedi watched it in a different way, but like it's weird that he thought this one was kind of his favorite because like if you look at like Star Wars fan response of just Star Wars fans, not people that know anime well, but just Star Wars fans, like a lot of them thought this one was the worst one.
I liked it, but I liked the Hutts.
Yeah, I think because I didn't really need a whole lot of dialogue to really understand what was going on.
Yeah. And the way you were watching it, I think this one played out really well, probably. Because like you said, besides the nuanced things like Jabba becomes our manager at the end, like you don't really like need the audio or anything here.
Yeah, but this is like the shortest one out of all of them. It was easy to. I mean, it was mindless, right? So, I mean, how bad?
Yeah,
what are you?
It's pretty straightforward.
What are you upset about? Like,
of the episodes that were rated on IMDb, this one is the lowest rated out of the 9 that have been released.
Yeah,
really.
But yeah, it was just lighthearted. There weren't any lightsabers. I mean, not really.
Yeah. Well,
I think the order they put them in was a bit of a shock to people because you had the duel, which is this, which I think that's what people went in there and thought like the whole thing was going to be like. Like I don't know if they thought it was going to be like What If, where it's all the same style or something.
Yeah.
But for it to be a true anthology, that's what this is for different kinds of animation to be in there.
Anyone else think that it's really dangerous to convert a lightsaber into a microphone? I mean, that is
what his lightsaber didn't work.
Yeah, his lightsaber didn't work. So he just but
started working.
You're right. Fair enough.
But yeah, if he cuts off his face in the middle of a show, we know what the issue was.
Yeah, I mean it was silly. So it was what it was. It was like watching one of those Ewok cartoons. All right, next up is the twins.
Yep.
Yeah, this one seemed like a what if, Seemed like what if Luke and Leia, instead of going wherever they went, they ended up with Vader.
Yeah. So what it is timeline wise in the Star Wars, this and another episode are the only two that actually take place after the episode 9. Yeah. So, and this is basically crazy Sith acolyte cult basically breeding these two twins to become basically the leaders of the new Sith Empire, more or less.
And creating a mega weapon that can blow up planets.
Yeah.
Because that old trope.
But the look of the sister, like her look is very much Darth Vader. Like her helmet.
Yeah. Both of them have power suits or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. Like hers, it's like she's trying exactly to mimic Vader's look with just a little bit more of anime dramatic flair.
Which I thought this graphic was interesting because the way they're kind of explaining it working, like it looks almost like it goes. I don't know if those are supposed to represent their respective Star Destroyers, but it almost looks like the power has to go through their suits. So I'm like, once he busted off his suit, doesn't that shut down the weapon? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought so too. I don't know.
It was weird the way they explained how it worked, but it's Star Wars. Super weapons have always kind of been like, which actually this kind of reminds me of a weird super weapon that they've built in like other things from like Legends. There was one that was powered, and I can't remember what story it was. There was one that was powered by like a giant kyber crystal, more or less, and apparently the kyber crystal gave you like super Jedi powers or something, because Darth Vader gets his hands on it and he does like force lightning and all other stuff he hasn't done before.
The acolytes looked really creepy, and having the Children of the Corn was messed up.
Yep.
So the brother breaks off, steals the crystal for no reason, And then,
Well, he's trying to save his sister, not no reason.
right? Yeah, I know, but originally it seemed like no reason.
Yeah.
So that wasn't an X-wing. Then he goes completely anime, I guess, right?
Yeah. He goes all Han Solo. That's Han Solo's outfit. But yeah. So there's a battle for the Kyber crystal. She ends up taking half the Kyber crystal or a shard of the Kyber crystal and sticking in her power suit, which actually I thought was an awesome idea. Like this to me had very interesting Star Wars ideas. Like that, like a suit can be powered by a Kyber crystal, and it also has a ton of actually in the audio a ton of Star Wars references too. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but
Jedi got this one pretty right.
Yeah.
The director of this one, he directed a series called Kill la Kill, and so the animation style of Kill la Kill is way over the top. The action scenes are crazy, and this is very reminiscent of Kill la Kill style fighting.
Which is a very odd series to the non-anime initiated, probably.
Right.
If you were to explain that, like closed suits give you super powers with giant scissor weapon, like it would be a little bit off. But
it sounds like JJ's trying, or maybe because you're already at this last slide, so I'll ask my question. Why did the lightsaber not cut her in half? It went like right through her, right?
He had the ability to control, I think, the power and the length of it. Like that was his special ability with that lightsaber, I guess. I don't know. Okay. It's Star Wars, dude. I don't know.
I mean, I just wanted to make sure, or if there was something in the dialogue, or that obviously I didn't get a hold of, that would explain how that happened. So,
not really. No,
that wasn't.
He does explain that. He does explain that it's too dangerous or something like that. Actually, it's the droid's idea to put him on the front of the X-wing.
The X-wing, and
which takes off. By the way, I did include the murder droid saving her shot for one super interesting thing. Okay, we have humans outside in space.
Right.
Now, she is originally wearing a power suit, but he isn't. And at some point, she loses her power suit. Why does he have a helmet on? He's a droid. He's not breathing anything.
What'd you two think of this one? I was not.
This was a lot of what I expected it to be. Because,
really,
like Sam said, I knew Kill la Kill, and I think a different director, but same studio, which is Promare. It's over the top, stylish animation with a. No, it wasn't one of my favorites.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was middle of the road for me. It was pretty much what I knew it was going to be over the top coming in, like visually speaking, and probably not a lot of substance. So it was pretty much what I expected.
This one, Jedi probably got the majority of it wrong. Like almost all of it. So here we go.
This one is very.
Go ahead.
I don't know how to say Japanese culture based. As far as like taking pride in the nature, and it's like nature versus industrialism kind of thing going on in there.
That's true.
Like the Shinto faith and the sacred bride, and making sure that she doesn't dirty her feet. Yeah. It wasn't that she couldn't walk, is that she didn't want to have her feet soiled and become impure before her wedding.
Yeah,
because they have to go up to the shrine. And
once she started walking later, I kind of put that together. It was something to do with the ceremonial.
Which, by the way, that guy's got to have at this point freaking like massive thighs doing squats. Because he carries for like the first half of the episode.
Now, I thought this lady, the hero here, you had her listed as F. She reminds me of Lily from the manga that we've been reading.
Yep, visually very much
so. Aesthetic.
So to explain in the Star Wars timeline a little bit, so this takes place basically after Revenge of the Sith, more or less. She is a Padawan.
None of this is canon. None of it's canon.
Yeah, timeline-wise, not canon. I'm just saying where it falls in the timeline. This would take place after Revenge of the Sith, and basically the Jedi Order has kind of scattered of who's left. She's a Padawan. She still has the braid there in that shot. Who's basically kind of, throwing away the Jorder and is on the run. And I don't know what's up with the face mask. I guess maybe that's to hide her identity partly. Because they don't really explain that part of why she wears the face mask. But she even has right there, go back one slide, Marco. That is a flashback right there to Order 66. Where she sees her master being killed. It doesn't show that, but that's if Jedi had the audio, it could understand. You could actually hear them killing her Jedi master, like the stormtroopers. But
Jedi,
by the way, she's on that planet because the explorer, who is the older guy there, has invited her to come see it because he was also friends with her master, and her master supposedly you don't really figure out what it was, but had a close connection to the planet. So that's why the Jedi's there to observe this wedding. Just to put the background in it. Go ahead, Jedi, if you got a question.
No, it's just so the lady, the Force, the Padawan, the girl with the mask, was she one of those kids that were playing in the water?
No.
That was the other three, right?
No, that was the
bridegroom and that other blonde girl that got
the sister. Yep.
Oh, she was a sister. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get to that one in the next slide here. But so basically, the guy's telling her the story of when the Separatists showed up to that planet. So these are Separatists. So I would assume they were scattered after Revenge of the Sith. They're basically who's left, kind of serving as bandits.
Cyclops.
And they had they'd taken over droids, right?
Yep. They reprogram battle droids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is what happens, like we said, this is what happens when your drunk sister shows up to your wedding with all her rowdy friends and ruins your rehearsal dinner that you're having there. But so she shows up and throws a ruckus. And then
so they were supposed to time out. So what was supposed to happen was the village has to hand somebody over as a hostage.
Yeah, it's very Braveheart.
Yeah.
Like basically they got to turn her over as a hostage to the
actually
Separatists.
this has a lot to do that style too, where like a different warlord would come over and you'd hand over, and even if you were subject of it, you'd hand over sometimes if you were betting.
Who was going to be handed over? The bride?
The bride. Once they were married, they had to hand the bride over as a hostage. Actually, it was supposed to be her father. Was that correct? I think it was supposed to be
the chief. Yeah. The chief was already in captivity and she was going to take his place, but I think the husband was going to be allowed to go too.
James Lynn, thank you for the $5 super chat. The duel was the Yojimbo Seven Samurai storyline from the Kurosawa films.
It was very Yojimbo.
It was very much so. Yes, it was a lot of Yojimbo.
Actually, I was trying to find it, but I didn't have time to pull Yojimbo images, or didn't really have anything to pull them from. But
they sell that.
You could do side by sides of that episode, and they're almost identical.
Cool.
I mean,
it was really cool. Thanks again, James. Appreciate it. All right.
So basically, she has a heart-to-heart with the bride before the night before their wedding. She decides to cut her braid after this heart-to-heart that basically knights herself, I guess.
Right.
As a Jedi. Yep. And move forward. So they show up the next morning.
Nothing says business like a midriff in short shorts.
Yep. So the sister has already been captured. The Separatist is like, well, you got to make amends because your sister's a rebel, more or less, and they end up finding a detonator on her, and he's about to execute her with one shot until he pulls a Kylo Ren and stops the blaster bolt mid-flight. F does, and obviously she's lost her mask, so she's gone full Jedi at this point.
All right.
And I thought this was cool because he has the high ground.
He does have the high ground. He misses everything but he has the high ground.
Yeah.
What's up? This part. What the heck's up with the helmet? Did anybody catch that?
So he throws the helmet in like a, I don't know, heroic throw, basketball style throw. And of course, battle droids in this episode, they did capture very well for Star Wars. Like they act very much like the battle droids we all know and love from Clone Wars and everything else.
Bubbling fools.
But so basically that gets rid of all the helmet somehow shoots into their
shoots.
Which by the way, I should have captured an image of it, but I'm pretty sure they're flying a Millennium Falcon.
It looked very similar in style.
But anyways,
it's definitely Carillion, I think.
Yeah, I mean it looks a lot like I forget what is that a designation to it, and I can't remember what it is, but anyways, he ends up the last bastion of the scoundrels to take a hostage. So he ends up taking, that's the bride, by the way, not the sister.
Yeah.
As the hostage. He grabs her, and if you go to the next slide,
Lily
finally pulls her lightsaber, which I thought, by the way, out of all the episodes, this is one of the coolest looking lightsabers.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because it looks like a katana.
Yeah, and it even has I like the hand guard with actual ring.
So does she have like rockets in her? What was the deal with the shoes?
I think they were kind of like, I don't know if they used
Iron Man shoes or something.
Yeah, I don't know. They were somehow powered.
Kind of souped up. They're Nike Airs. You just have to pump them up a little bit.
Pump them up.
It's the pump. But she uses that, basically gives her super speed, and she takes him out. She disarms him, if you want to say it. She cuts off his arm. But,
a little bit old school, right? And then she flies away.
Yep, flies away with the villagers, all thankful for
her. Hey, there goes James Lynn again. He told you that if you want to watch Yojimbo It is on HBO Max, so that's cool. Thank you for that. All right,
Sam, I'm interested to know what Sam thought of that one because I know.
What'd you guys think of it? Yeah, Sam.
As that episode
of the last one, the bride.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty good. It reminded me of like the ninja escort missions, from Naruto, where they're going into a village and they're just there to kind of observe and keep the peace, and then things kind of go haywire. But it was an okay storyline. Felt like all of these are just really giving you a glimpse. And the other thing is the blaster freezing, the Kylo Ren blaster freezing seems to be a lot more common now. And no one had ever done it before Kylo Ren in the movies, and now it's in all of the kind of extended.
You do see that a lot more. I think because that was the one cool thing they did. Those movies, at least, or something, and they're like, we got to use that now. But
we got to freeze these plasma blasts all the time.
Yeah, I think that episode has gotten a lot of hate online that I've seen. I think unjustifiably. I think it's just because it's an unusual style, and Star Wars fans probably weren't super used to like all the traditional Japanese and, like you said, a lot of the anime style that you see in a lot of anime, but you don't really see it anything related to Star Wars.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like lost in translation stuff. Like I can see, a Western audience would look at this and say, women are not that helpless, and she doesn't need to be carried up that mountain. She's got her own 2 feet. She can do her own thing. But this is very traditional. I think a cultural understanding allows you to just, I get what they're doing. This is a typical Shinto wedding ceremony or something like that, or Shinto-esque, Shinto adjacent.
Yeah. I thought it was one of the better ones. I mean, it wasn't the best one.
It was all right.
Yeah. It wasn't the best one. I think I ranked it like when I ranked them about 4th. So it was on the better half.
Yeah. I think, are we going to go through all of them or just the first 5?
Just the first 5 is what.
Okay.
What
of the first 5, of the first 5, I enjoyed the duel the most.
Yeah.
And then, this one was kind of in the middle of the pack. The Village Bride was kind of in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. And this Ninth Jedi, so I think this is the longest one.
Yeah,
I forget
23 minutes.
Yeah, I think the longest one. And the production IG, probably the biggest studio in this thing. Would you say? Or one of them?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we got it cycling through here. But basically, you get these. How many of them were there? 7? I think they ended up showing up at this temple. 6 show up at this temple, and we are to assume they are Jedi. They say, "Oh, we're all Jedi that have been summoned here by this mysterious message from this mysterious Margrave Juro." Which a Margrave, by the way, for people who don't understand it, is like a governor. Basically, he rules that planet. Yeah.
So the way they had it set up was very much like a whodunit, or casting suspicion, and. They said, how do we know this isn't a trap by the Margrave? How do we know the Margrave isn't the one setting the trap? And so they're casting all these suspicions on the Margrave and on each other. And
mysterious droid
shows up. Yeah, it's all a shell game to keep the audience's suspicion on the wrong people.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of if you ever watch Batman the animated series. There's kind of that famous episode, Almost Got Him, where they're all sitting around the poker table talking about all those times they almost captured Batman. Yeah. And all along, Batman is there. You just don't know who he is.
Right.
But yeah.
That was a great episode.
a game of Clue, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The Margrave did it in the conservatory with a lightsaber.
Or my kids would play Among Us. You guys know the game Among Us?
Yeah.
And they would do it in real life, and they would have me set it up. And this one game, I made them all imposters, and none of them knew that they were all imposters. They were all killing each other. But that was kind of the situation here. Everyone was imposter except one.
Yep. So yeah. So Kara is our hero here. She eventually shows up here after all those Jedi show up, and we see the Jedi Sabersmith. So this is the guy making all these supposedly illegal lightsabers. He's been instructed by Margrave Juro to make them. I thought this was interesting. So when she lights up a lightsaber, the smith explains that ability of the lightsaber and the color of the lightsaber is determined by the force ability of its user, which is an interesting and different way. Yeah, interesting and different way in Star Wars to do sabers. And I also thought it was a neat concept in that hers is kind of colorless. Yeah. So, and he lays out all the lightsabers he's built. So he's supposed to build, I think, 9 of them total.
Yep.
I think was the deal. End up sewing up these Jedi hunters show up. So he really quickly hands them to his daughter and says, "Get out of these. Take these to the Margrave." Ends up he's a Force user. We only see it for a second. So he blocks a blaster shot, ends up blowing himself up because it hits the kyber crystal which, by the way, another weird thing, he's tempering the kyber crystals. That's how he gives them the certain abilities, I guess, which is a weird concept. He's actually tempering them and heating them with a hammer and then smashing them, which was interesting. But so basically he gets knocked out. He's still alive, gets knocked out and taken by the Jedi hunters. And we end up showing that's Margrave there showing off the droid showing off the Margrave's lightsaber to these people, which if you hit the next slide for me, it's interesting that that's the guy that they decide, oh, hey, pick this up. I want to hold it. And none of these other people hold it. So it's interesting that Ethan, who's that character, is the only one that grabs it. And he's kind of like the green Jedi, I guess. Like he doesn't really know anything about being a Jedi. And he's not a Jedi. He's just a guy who has Force abilities. But he picks that up. Kara's on the run. She ends up pulling out her own lightsaber and basically, I guess, jousting the guy. So I know Jedi's where you mentioned the droid sipping the tea, but I thought this was one of my favorite parts. I don't know why.
I'm on break. I'm on break.
Let me finish my tea. He also moves super slowly.
Yeah.
But maybe he's in the droid union. I don't know. But anyways, so she finally shows up with the lightsabers. Hands them off to everybody, and shock. Instead of like 1 or 2, they're pretty much all Sith. They've killed their Jedi people that are supposed to show up, and they are all Sith users. Except for Ethan, which by the way, I also put that image there because I thought the Margrave Juro's outfit was awesome. Like it looked very Sith-like. I think that was what threw a lot of people.
I did. Yeah, I thought he was a Sith.
Yeah. So, but Ethan's apparently going to protect him, even though he sucks. So the Margrave basically just straight up takes the guy's lightsaber out of his hand and it turns green and he uses it to slice him in half. We get the duel. Kara starts dueling the Sith, which I wasn't able to capture the image, but there's an interesting part where I'm pretty sure when she first pulls out her lightsaber, so she attacks 2 of the Sith guys, and I'm pretty sure she just busts Ethan out of the way and keeps fighting the 3 Sith. Yeah. And he's just over there on the side. It's like, man, how useless is Ethan in this scenario? But so Margrave is apparently pretty awesome. He's taking out Sith left and right. One of the Sith is apparently not a Sith. He's a Jedi that the Margrave knows. But his lightsaber turns purple when he starts clashing with Kara, so he turns back, I guess, to good.
He was like mine. They had something over
like a mine. I guess it was. I think he said it was all the Force darkness the darkness of the Force surrounding him made him.
I took it as like he did a Voss thing where he kind of went to try to be like undercover, and the dark side of the Force was kind of taking him over, and so then he had to be rejuvenated.
And then she's fighting Kara's lightsaber turns green, so. Sure, her Force ability is growing. So she ends up taking on the lead Sith guy. And he ends up, which I couldn't capture him.
He gets barbecued, man.
Yeah, basically. He does what you should never do in a basketball game, which is leave your feet, trying to block the shot. And Margrave just kind of shoves him off the edge into the giant kyber crystal. And he gets, I don't know how, but he gets barbecued on top of the kyber crystal. And then the happy ending is the 4 survivors.
Well, he said there's more too. It was weird because at the end he was like, you thought they killed those Jedi, but then he kind of hinted that maybe they didn't kill them and maybe they're still out there. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know.
I'm sorry. What was that?
At the end, he kind of hinted. I don't know if you caught it, but he kind of hinted that like maybe that those guys, the Sith that were posing at him, didn't actually kill all of the Jedi. That there still are some out there.
Yeah. He's still trying to restore the order. So to me, this was interesting from a Star Wars perspective in that this is the other episode that takes place. Actually, they say many generations, basically after Episode 9, so far into the future that we haven't seen before in Star Wars. And to me, this was the most Star Wars episode out of all these, as far as like it being very Star Wars-esque. that seems like if they ever made like an actual anime series or something, I would think this would be a storyline they could take, almost like if it were a new version of the New Jedi Order, like what like Luke did or something like that.
It seemed like they gave the ability to have like 2 or 3 of these still be like a second portion or something.
Yeah. There's another one in the second half we haven't done yet that I think if they go forward with a series, those would be the ones they go forward with. But
all right, so that's it. We got that. We will definitely we'll maybe shorten up the real reviews next week, but we will definitely do the Jedi Johnson reviews because those were great. So,
I think if the viewers want it, then yeah, I'll do. I'm going one a day. I'm not gonna.
I'll try to run through them again.
Not gonna cram them. Yeah.
Overall, how do these rank? I mean, it's you two know more about watching this type of stuff than obviously me and Jedi do. Were any of them just like you're just like, oh, good Lord, why am I watching this? Or were they all? Because I think some people feel that way, like outside of watching them.
I mean, like even I think like you can't just walk in as an being fan of anime and be like, these are all for me. This is very different styles across 7 different studios.
But so you can appreciate if it's done well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's even I didn't really like Tatooine Rhapsody very much, but I can appreciate having knowing anime all right, I guess, not super well, but enough that I know a little bit. I could appreciate like the art style and stuff and see what they were trying to do, but at the same time, that art style as an anime watcher has never been much for me as far as my style goes. Right. Like I just don't watch a lot of anime animated in that style. So, I mean, that was kind of, and I think a lot of it, like if you go in as like a pure Star Wars fan, never having watched anime, I don't know how to put it. I guess this is the thing. You got to go into it with an open mind.
Yeah.
So, and I'll just say this. So I did not enjoy it. I mean, I kind of.
Really?
Well, you're listening to it in Japanese, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's
true. Let me put it this way. Do you think the way you watched it, do you think you gave it a fair shot though?
No, I mean, Marco and I talked. I mean, there was some entertainment value to this, obviously. And but I'll never know because I'm not going to go back and watch it again. But I asked I'm an old man or oldish, and so this is probably not my cup of tea. But I have 2 in their 20s sons. One really likes Star Wars. The other tolerates it because his old man likes it. And I asked them both. I said, "Hey, they're doing a Star Wars anime. Are you guys in?" Neither one. I were like, "I'm not into this." And they both watch anime. I mean, they watch all those anime that I can't pronounce the names or don't know the names and whatever. But they were just like, "Nah, not interested." So I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, I think the format of it being an anthology too puts even both Star Wars fans and anime fans will put some people off. Just because it's not connected, it's not canon. Like there was a lot of people I talked to when it was coming out, and you guys know from IG postings and other stuff that I was pretty hyped on it. Okay, but at the same time, there's a lot of people I talked to that's like, it's not canon. I'm not even going to bother with it. I don't care. If it doesn't flow. Yeah. Which to me I find odd because the complaints of when Force Awakens came out, everybody's like, well, this is just a shameless rehash and, super boring and all that. I want to see something different in Star Wars. So then Disney does something different and you still get complaints that it's too different.
Yeah, you're always going to get complaints.
Yeah.
I could appreciate that they were done well. I obviously am like Half Price and everybody else that really liked the first one, but I like the Kurosawa stuff. So like that. And I didn't actually have a problem with Rhapsody. I thought maybe if they could make them time limited, like shorts, like 10 minutes, not go so, because I just remember like going back on some of the longer ones going, oh shit, man, I wasn't paying attention. I like turn away, start doing some work or something like that. And I think if they just would have made it like standard timing, like 12 minutes each, get them in, get them out. Like you didn't, even with that last one, it was, the fighting scenes were good and everything like that, but like they dragged on a little. I think we all figured out they were they kind of,
I didn't, I thought it was a pretty good twist that they were all Sith.
Yeah,
I was thinking like 1 or 2.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I think we knew that the Sith were there. They kept pinning.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the twist was that there were 6 of them. It was everybody with them.
But I mean, you didn't need to you didn't need to go through every room of the Clue House to figure that there was a Sith in that room.
Yeah,
right? And that's kind of what they did. They went through every room. And it's like, okay, well, we know they're there. Like, just show us which one is. The one that surprised me was that he wasn't. But either way, so I think they could have shortened it up a little bit. But I hear what you're saying too. Sam, how were you on these? I don't.
Yeah. So one of the things that you get a lot in like a Japanese manga magazine is the concept of a one shot, which is essentially an audition for a larger series. And these definitely, to me, had that kind of one shot, sizzle reel, proof of concept feel, audition for a larger series. You know, they're showing you the characters and the signature style and trying to sell an audience on an idea or maybe a production company or even Disney, the studio, on an idea that could be expanded into a larger framework, larger series. And so this is really kind of, you know, voting with your eyes, the things that are going to get the most views and the most thumbs up and the most stars are the things that you're going to see more of in the next set. So if you look at it that way, you know, watch the stuff that you like more and Disney will produce more of it. And,
so I definitely get the feeling that, you know, again, if I were going to watch this, this style in English where I could understand the dialogue, I will say that I think I would probably rather watch that than Resistance.
Yeah. There you go. Dinger. Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Way better than Resistance. Way better. The first episode so far, and I loved it. Cool. Yeah, the first one was good, Justin.
Yeah,
all right.
And they weren't all the same quality. Like they ranged quite a bit. Even looking at like the star ratings on IMDb, they range between 5.5 and 8.7. And
I really found the one that I found the worst was the sister brother Luke thing. I don't know why, but I just was not.
Yeah, to me, like that was the one that, like, they nailed it on. If you read like the concept of it, or if you watch like the production videos on it, like they nailed the concept of it. I love the concept of, basically it reminded me a lot, instead of Luke and Leia, it reminded me of the Solo twins. Is it Jason and Jaina? Jaina, or how you say it, but kind of an inverse of that, because I think they both start off light and one goes dark.
Yeah.
But in this, you had basically the reverse. They both started off dark, one went light. But in the end, like the concept of that, and like the interesting concepts of like a Star Destroyer that is like basically the Death Star, and like the concepts of it seem very interesting. The execution of it, not as much, because they didn't tell you that story. Like,
it seemed very anime-like and very unlike Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
they didn't tell you the story of the concepts that, from a Star Wars perspective, sounded to me super interesting. Like, as you watch that episode, unless you watch that production video, you'd have no idea that the timeline it took place and the concepts behind the Star Destroyer and everything else. So I think they kind of ruined that one.
I think that was part of it too. I didn't want to see another super weapon Star Destroyer planet. By the way, that's just stupid. All right, well, that is it. I know half of us were anime fans, half of us are not, though, half price. So we tried to cover that. Jedi will be expecting you to give us another review from not knowing what's going on in it, because I think that was good. I enjoyed it, so I'm going to give it a thumbs up. One per week instead of all at once. I do too. I think it would have been. How do you guys think that would have turned out? Joe's got a good point. Would it have been better one per week instead of all at once?
I made that suggestion both in our chat and also on IG, that like if you were to watch this, binge watching it, an anthology series like this is probably not the best, because they're so different, they're so separated. Like, to me, it was better to sit there and maybe watch one a day or something like that, and just kind of digest the episode as it goes, rather than like
people hated the Rhapsody one, and that's what they got for their week. Would they have come back the next week?
Well, I don't know if I think they were right to like almost release it all at once rather than like as one long anthology, just because they're so short, for one, but also two, like I said, to release it all as that. But I think that it would have been better if they put a disclaimer up as like, hey, we advise you to only watch one a day or something. To me, it just doesn't work as a binge watch thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the stories were very different in style and tone, and but at the same time, they're very short. 10 minutes for a whole week. It's almost not enough to talk about. It's like a commercial.
But and some of us have watched all of them. I thought maybe if you could have done it in like groupings of 3, because there were some. You start to see some similarities. Like if you liked one, there's one coming up you're gonna like. I mean, I think.
Well, and I mean, there were seven studios, so they could have done like Star Wars Vision Week and like one a day, and then the day with the 2 studios, you get 2 that day, and I mean, there was ways they could have done it and differently.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's do some before we do the naming of the Fett section. Let's do the Funko thing. So, well,
I actually forgot about that.
Should we do Fett or should we do Funko?
Either one. I mean, I'm just saying. I just forgot all about the Fett naming thing.
All right, let's do the Fett naming thing then. It should be short, sweet, and kind of fun. So we always make fun of all these sites that they just throw any shit up against the wall, and then like when they get one right, they're like, "Look, we predicted this. We got the inside track." So we know that the Boba Fett for the Book of Fett, they came out with the titles. They came out with the titles this week. So we decided here at Tales from the Darkside that we were actually going to give you the answer to what every title is, so that we could be right about it. And we're going to pretty much throw shit up at the wall and see if any of it sticks. So here we go. That's a proper description, correct? That's what we're doing here?
Correct.
All right. So the first one was Champion. That's the first title. We do know this is an intro, but I literally, when I was thinking about this, I think it's going to be, the Champion of Mandalore. So from what I hear, from my insider source, this is what's going to happen. He actually has a flashback of how he's sitting on the throne and he has a dream of the Darksaber and it takes him over. And then all of a sudden he sees all these ancient Mandalorians and he figures that he needs to be the champion of all the Mandalorians. And that's why it's called the Champion. That is why that one is called the Champion. That's from an inside source, so don't let that one out. But that's what I got there. Does anybody have anything different, or are those the same sources that you guys have?
Wait, so are we just speculating, or are you guys actually
making shit up? No, we're really making shit up. Yeah.
His inside source is no one.
I mean, this is mine. It's inside his head.
John Doe.
It is.
Anonymous. He's anonymous inside source.
But then here it goes. So number 2, though, this one came from a true inside.
Wait. I got one for the Champion.
Okay, go ahead. What did you got?
He's in a gladiator arena and he comes up and he's the champion, or he's fighting the champion.
Who's the champion, though? Yeah. You got to give a spoiler. You got to give a speculation spoiler so people can buy comic books.
Okay. It's that guy with the backwards knees and the lizard head.
Hey, the Sergeant Creel.
Sergeant Creel.
Okay, Game Master. He's a champion.
Yeah. Oh, he's fighting the game. That makes sense. Game Master. Good. Yeah, that works. Does he have the lightsaber still or no?
Sure. Why not?
Very good.
Very
good.
Do it.
I think I know what it's about.
I think you had for the algorithm. Okay, what's your inside source say, Jedi?
So I think we're overthinking it, to be honest with you. So Boba he's on the throne. Fennec is at his side. He's like comfortable, and he's like, pull my finger, and then he's like, champion.
Okay, you're overthinking. We have inside sources. All right, inside source next.
Anonymous inside source.
Anonymous inside sources. The next anonymous inside sources is called the Assassin. So I really had I called all the people. I called Timmy the Tutu and like Jimmy the Jam Jam, and this is what they got me. They said, "Listen, there's a lot of assassins in Star Wars. There's Zam, and a lot of people think this is about Sing, but it's not about Sing. You could do a Maul thing, but it's not about Maul or Ochai or Death Sticks." What it really is, number 2, we know because we've seen a hat, and the hat is a cowboy floppy hat. And this is because of the dent in his head. The assassin is Cad Bane, and this is where Cad Bane and Boba are going to have that original shot because of Dave, because Dave's got everything, because he took over, and Catherine Kennedy, because of Lucas's ex-wife, no longer has control over anything, right? So that's the truth, because we know it's the truth. So Dave took over. He's taking over the entire studio, and he's bringing Cad Bane, and the assassin is dedicated to Cad Bane, and we finally get the famous dent shot in his head. That's it. True source. Anonymous.
Are we positing actual theories too, or just
go ahead? Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
I do think this one's going to be about Shand. Some sort of assassin rivalry with Fennec Shand, because she's one of the only assassins that we know about that have shown up in these shows so far. So I think this one's going to be a Shand-centric episode.
Yeah, but we have to put Cad Bane. Any rumor starts with Cad Bane. I mean, so that's Cad Bane. Anybody else have any rumors that they've heard from their connections? Nope. Good. On to the next one.
Wait, who's the gal that put the spider legs on Darth Maul?
The Mother Townsend?
Yeah. Is she an assassin?
No, she's dead.
No,
Crazy,
Oh, okay.
crazy witch lady.
All right. Crazy witch lady.
Yeah, it was like his brother in Crazy Witch Lady. But all right, next up is number 3, the Syndicate. Okay, there's 5 major syndicates. Obviously, we have to choose one. The syndicates are the Crimson Dawn, Black Sun, the Krymosh, which is like the little guys that end up dealing with the droid syndicate. So that's a combo there. The Hutts and the Pike. Obviously, if you think Death Sticks is going to show up in... Oh, I'm surprised nobody said Death Sticks was what's going to be in 2 with the Assassin. I was hoping somebody would say that. Because that was
You already said it wasn't.
But I also had an inside source.
Yeah, you said it wasn't.
I don't want to contradict your anonymous inside sources.
There's 2 inside sources. They say Death Stick's going to show up in the background.
Oh.
So she's going to show in the background. If she shows up in the background, then it's going to be Crimson Dawn is going to be in Syndicate. But also to Greco Hutt. We're going to have Greco Hutt, the 18-pack, or the big arm. And we're going to have Buku Hutt from the War of the Bounty Hunter book is going to show up in here, and Boba the Fett is going to get smacked between 2 Hutts. One's going to hit him with the 8-pack. The other's going to start punching at him, but he's going to blow him up with a rocket and throw the other one into a Sarlacc pit. Inside source anonymous. That's what's going to happen, and he's going to take over the entire Hutt cartel. There we go. Inside source. Anybody else got anything? Any syndicates you guys think are going to show up? Nope. Cool.
Hondo. It'll have Hondo.
My wife watches Dallas on syndication.
Very good. No, not the same thing. All
Related?
right, so this is where we're all leading up to. So this is where you got to get the real good spec books out here. Here we go. All right, number 4, the Battleground. Mm-hmm. Does anybody think about what's happening with the Battleground? What do you guys got? Anything?
It's that forest moon of Endor.
Close. He goes back because remember in the Champion he had that permission how he was going to be the champion of all Mandalore. So he goes back to Mandalore and he checks the Battleground that was the Siege of Mandalore to look so if he could find any type of relic or anything like that. Right? This is what the inside source says. So he's on Mandalore. They have pictures of him on a planet that looks like Mandalore, and he's looking for artifacts. And there's a vision, and it's a vision, and it looks like there could be another vision of a Mandalore on the Battleground on the planet Mandalore. So there we go. Next up after that, we have got Concord Dawn. So the homeworld. So after he has this vision, the vision is actually of Jango Fett. That's what the script says. And it says that he then decides that he's going to go back home to Concord Dawn, where his dad was a foundling. So they're going to have a link up there. And when he gets there, he's going to find a little transmitter. And the transmitter tells him that his dad technically wasn't a foundlinger, that he was actually a true descendant of the first Mandalores, right? So that's what he does with the homeland. And then the last one is the Warlord. And if we all know, the original warlords of Mandalore and the Mandalorian world are Mandalore the Conqueror, Mandalore the First, and Mandalore the Indomitable. And he leaves to find these Mandalores so that he can grab specific things. And at one point, while he's looking for these things, he runs into, here's the big one. You guys ready? The showdown. So while he's looking for all these artifacts, the showdown, he runs into Darth Revan. Because, if you don't have speculation with Darth Revan, you have zero speculation at all. So Darth Revan will be showing up in episode 7, and we'll have Boba Fett fighting Darth Revan, even though it's 40,000 years difference in between the two. Facts are facts. He will be fighting Darth Revan because canon. Okay, and finally, the last episode, and this is the one where we get everybody. After he defeats Darth Revan, gets all the artifacts, the Hunter shows up, and obviously, because it's such a hit, and they want to link the two stories together, the Hunter is actually from Bad Batch Hunter, and Hunter actually shows up in live action, and him and Boba Fett at the end of it, it's a cliffhanger, and Hunter and Boba Fett stay face to face. So wow. Those are going to all happen.
That like 120-year-old Hunter.
Yeah. It's all right. They age differently. You don't know how they age. It could actually
they age rapidly.
It could be Omega sitting next to them, and that's how Omega gets in there too. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to happen because that's what it is. Omega is going to be played by one of the Olsen twins. All right, so there we go.
I think you mean Omega.
Omega, sorry, is going to be played by one of the Holson twins. So there we go. All that stuff is true facts. We called the people out on the flip phone and the beepers, and we have got on our secret sources. One of those things may actually not happen.
One, just one.
It's just happening. All right, there we go. That's it. But I figured, what the hell? Everybody else does it. Why shouldn't we do it? We should just guess and say.
Good time.
Do you think any of that would happen? I think the Cad Bane thing might. They could actually do a.
They already put the dent in his helmet.
I know, but it could be because of that. They go back and do. They bring Cad Bane there, and
give
that's
him a dent, like on top of the dent, like.
No. But they do a flashback to the dent or something like that. Oh, we're making up stuff for titles of the release Book of Fett titles. We're just throwing shit up against the wall. Hey, Thunder, what's going on?
Actually,
man, I should have half price. My bad, dude. We didn't get Mephisto in there. I should have put Mephisto in there.
One interesting thing that they, like I said before, like traditionally you hear it called the Hutt Cartel, not the Hutt Syndicate. Although a syndicate and a cartel are essentially interchangeable, but it's funny in Tatooine Rhapsody, like in the English dub, they say Hutt Syndicate. Like, I was like, oh, okay, so now it is a syndicate, I guess. But I thought if that would have been interesting if that was Crimson Dawn, and then you could have people like Destic and other people in there.
You could. There was a double option there, but that's it. I mean, I think I got every single piece of spec in those 8. Like, I think I got them all in there. I mean, I had Darth Revan. I had Death Sticks. I had Crimson Dawn, Jango Fett. The only thing I didn't do, I was going to go Grievous at one point, but he really did set on fire. Oh,
it wasn't outlandish enough. You didn't have like, well, you did get Darth Revan in there.
I got Revan in there, and I got Mandalore the Inevitable. I got the Mandalorian the First and Mandalorian the Conqueror. So I got all 3 of those.
You had the Hutt, so that could bring in Lone Pop.
With the Hutts, I could have brought in Low Pop. Yeah, I should have done that. I mentioned Sing.
You didn't have the Green Bunny guy.
Jackson. Well, you know what? There's 8 more episodes, right? So when they release those, we might be able to. Right?
My inside source says Jackson's going to be an Andor.
So I might be able to get those in.
Huh? I thought it was funny because Marco and I were talking before the show, and I said I had forgotten about it. I had not even looked at any of the titles yet. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to see them now?" I'm like, "No, I'll just see them when we're live on the show." So you brought up the first one, and I made the fart joke about pull my finger. And then as you went through every title, it was dawning on me, every one of those titles could be a fart game, with the exception of Homeworld. Yes. You bring them back up.
The assassin
ground.
Yeah. Now I want to see. Okay, hold on.
With the exception of Homeworld, I think.
All right, so now we're getting fart jokes instead of dad jokes. New segment. Here we go. We're not going to lose any viewers on this one. All right. Boba Fett slides. Here we go. So the champion was a fart joke.
You got the assassin.
Okay.
You got the syndicate. You just
need the secret assassin. I get it.
You just need more than one person for the syndicate. Battleground. It's a melee. It's like everybody. Homeworld. That's the one I said was.
That's the bathroom, man. That's the toilet.
Yeah, Homeworld. You got the Warlord. I mean, come on, self-explanatory. You got the Showdown because there's only 2 people left, and it's a showdown. Or you have the Hunter, which you probably have some people running, and you got to go hunt them down. And
Blue Dart.
Overthinking it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
It's about as good as
Mari stretch, so to speak.
Not as good as dad jokes. Well, nothing is.
No, it's the same. I think it's of the same quality there. Home fart game. There we go. Homeworld could have been a fart game at his crib. All right. Last up, let's get into the Funko business. I don't know. I thought that was okay. I probably should have done a little bit better of a job with it, but
no, you nailed it. You killed it, man. Don't sweat it.
All right.
It was amazing.
It was tough. The champion one was tough because it's always just a recap one. But
your inside source was spot on.
I know. I got them all. One of those has got to be. Look, I covered almost all of it. So, I should have thrown Yeddle in there for some reason. All right.
Yeah. Cal Kestis actually hasn't appeared in any comic.
I actually haven't given. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Also, I didn't get in there. I should have got him in, even though they're all dead by the time as the Inquisitors. Could have done that. And then Black K. But you know what? There's 8 more episodes, so I can get him in. All right. Next up is the Funko Bounty Hunter Collection. Jedi, are we ready?
It's more than that, but okay. That's where we're going to start.
Why is the count?
Yeah.
No clue why the count's there.
Well, the count is going to help us count.
Are you going to do the voice? Do the voice.
No, I'm not gonna.
Oh,
1, 2, 3.
I would probably insult somebody if I tried to do that. That would make someone angry. Okay, so GameStop is if you don't know or don't follow Funkos, GameStop is on board with the Bounty Hunter. 2021 is the year of the Star Wars Bounty Hunter, it seems, right? So GameStop is releasing. Basically, it's supposed to be when you put all these Funkos together, it's gonna be the scene on the destroyer in Empire Strike Back when the bounty hunters are getting their instructions.
Like a connecting set.
Going to be a connecting. I assume it's supposed to be connecting. That is my understanding. So the ones that's already been released. You can go to the next slide if you would. So Boba Fett was the first one. Bosk, I think, was a month or two ago.
Diorama.
And then IG-88, which I just picked up. So I do feel committed. So I am putting these things together at this point. I think that I don't normally take my Funkos out of the boxes. I think these I might actually take out of the box and try to put them together. And then Forlome is coming out. So what do we got? We got 4 so far, right? So
3, ha ha ha. 4, ha ha ha.
4. And Dengar is pre-ordering right now.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, which is going to be 441, it's going to go by quick, is going to be Zuckuss, right?
Okay.
And that's 6, right? So you can go to the next slide. So Zuckuss is going to be 6. So I think Marco probably doesn't remember because he forgets everything Funko. He just entertains me and nods his head a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So I was like,
inside sources, that's correct.
I was like, good. I was like, hey, there's only 6, man. There's only 6. Why is there 7, right? And then Marco's like, well, it's Darth Vader. And I'm like, well, Darth Vader's not a bounty hunter. It can't be Darth Vader. Well, I believe he's probably right. It's going to be Darth Vader most likely.
Well, because this is the scene. This is the diorama scene of
right.
of the in Empire.
So it hasn't been confirmed yet, but from everyone I've talked to, including Marco and a couple of the clerks at GameStop, they believe that it's going to be Darth Vader too.
That's my job. I'm a clerk at GameStop.
Yeah. That's your inside skill.
Yeah,
maybe they'll sneak one on you. They're like, Dev Lumpop was secretly there.
Yeah,
we're gonna release the special edition later.
She's like leaning up. Have you noticed she's like leaning up in the back? So she shows up in that IG-88 book. Spoiler alert. But in the one shot. But like she's always just leaning in the background for some reason.
She's in the background.
It's like, why can't we see what she could do with the unlocked jaw? Like if she could lizard out another thing and like
we almost
like Alien.
Yeah, like Alien it. All right. So what do we got after Vader shows up in this?
So Vader's going to be the last one. So that's GameStop. Yeah, I said they're going to be quick. If you're interested, like I said, you can pre-order them at GameStop. Well, I think, like I said, the pre-ordering Dengar now, I think, and then the others will be you can pre-order.
Oh, that's 100%. That's 100% him because where he stands, if you look at this diorama, how you put it, the piece that he connects into.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% Darth Vader because he hangs into that piece. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next up.
So these are hitting the streets now. These I thought were pretty interesting. These are a couple of the viewers have already gotten a couple of them. I know the Godfather Dom Tober has gotten a couple of these. He keeps me informed with what's going on with in the Funko world, so appreciate that. So these are actually based on the 1977 first run of Star Wars, the characters. I think they look pretty cool. There will likely, hopefully, be more of these. But as it stands now, we have the Stormtrooper, we have Luke, C-3PO, my man, and Darth Vader. What I actually think is most cool, and I've looked for these when I go into Target, because these are Target exclusives. I've looked for these. They're not, at least they haven't made it to my Target yet. You probably had to pre-order it or get it, buy it online. If you go to the next slide, Marco, thank you.
I am sorry.
It actually has covers of the comic books on the back of the box. So these would be some that I probably would not take out of the box just because I think they present pretty well as far as the covers go. What I don't understand for the life of me is the decision making on some of these. You have Star Wars #1, Luke's first appearance, got it. I think that's number 4 of Darth Vader. You have Darth Vader with the red eyes, but then you give C-3PO and Stormtrooper the same cover. I don't understand that. He seems like you'd give them a different cover, at least one of them a different cover. So I don't know.
Could have given them riding on the dewback or something. I don't know.
Could have given anything. I mean, there's so many covers that have those two characters on there. I don't know why they gave it the same cover. It really kind of irritates me, but I don't know. I don't know who makes those decisions.
But if they're on the back of the box, so how would you flip them around and display the back?
Yeah,
they could.
Well, they do the 4 thing where you put
or you can pick them up and just look at them. Well,
somebody call Slow Wookie and tell him in the board meeting that he needs to address this.
I'd say you buy 2 and
or you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so these actually some of the stuff, like I said, Dom feeds me information. Thanks Dom for keeping me in the loop. Next slide. So this Leia at Yavin is pre-ordering now on Amazon. I actually have a small collection of Leia Funkos, so I'm kind of debating whether or not to actually pre-order this one or not. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but it is in my cart.
And that's not Chewbacca's medal, or it is?
It should be.
Okay, that's not it. That was a joke and it didn't work well. Okay, well, whatever. All right.
Okay, and then so this is what I'm finding out. Just a couple, I don't know, last day or so. There are going to be some more Mandalorian pops. Maybe, probably.
Spoiler rumor alert. Maybe happen. Maybe.
I think if the information that's been sent to me on IG is accurate, I think these maybe can be at least for the. You might can start pre-ordering these tomorrow. Maybe
tomorrow. It looks like tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you've got the Marshal with a chase. So probably. I'm assuming the Marshal is maybe one with the chase is either with the mask, with the Boba Fett mask. I don't know. You have Fennec. You have Luke with Grogu. Grogu using the Force, which is probably at that Jedi altar place or whatever. You have Fett and Fennec, which is probably going to be an oversized, like the movie moments type of thing, if I'm guessing. I don't know which moment it'll be. For the exclusives, Boba Fett without his helmet. I'm sorry?
How cool would that be if they're sitting in the chair at...
that would be a cool one.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
That would be a really good one. So you have Boba Fett without his helmet, which is a Walmart exclusive. You have the Dark Trooper with Grogu. Entertainment E, I'm not sure what that is. You guys
it's a website. Yeah.
It's a website. Mandalorian hologram.
And it's Entertainment Earth, by the way.
Entertainment Earth, okay. You have Frog Lady. I don't know if she's going to have her eggs with her or not, but that's going to be a Walgreens exclusive.
Anybody excited about that?
Mandalorian with the Beskar staff is, I guess you have to order that from the Funko shop.
Always wanted my Frog Lady pop.
Yeah, Frog Lady pops. Cool. Well, which ones look good to you on this list?
So anything Fett, right? I'm going to probably try my best to get the Fetts.
How many Fetts do they possibly have? They've got so many Fetts at this point.
Once you commit yourself, you just got to go. And then maybe the Mandalorians. Just depends on what I'm not a big fan of those hologram where they make the pop green. I'm not a big fan of those. Some people are, which is cool. So yeah, definitely probably the Fetts. Maybe the Marshal if he has a Fett, if he has Boba's mask. Maybe.
Cool.
Okay, Marshal.
Yeah, what's
the Oliphant Marshal? Yeah,
Oliphant.
Okay.
Yeah. I was wondering if they're going to show him without it. You can't show him without a mask, right? You can't have Oliphant out there without a mask on. Maybe you can. All right.
Well, the Funko faces are pretty deadpan.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean they're not a lot of detail.
They gotta do. Yeah. I guess you're right. Well, they did that. Remember, they did the one where they had Mandalore, and it was
they did a
Black Series. And
they did a Mandalorian without a helmet, and it was eyes and then Pedro Pascal's stash.
That's
that was about it.
All right, well, good stuff, Jedi. There we go.
It.
We got
Quick.
some. We got some pop updates for you. We pulled it in under 2 hours. This is almost a miracle. It's like a Christmas miracle. We will be back next week. Make sure you check us out. All you people over at Renovision, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Same with Tales from the Flip Side. But Renovision will be back on Wednesday. Me and Pete will make our triumphant return to do Venom. And then next week, we've got some more surprises here. Sam, thank you very much for coming out. Guys, I did not burn down the house. It is a miracle that I'm still alive.